Hey everyone, it's Elisa. In this lesson, we are going to be tackling two-step equations. This is the first equation we're going to look at. I've modeled this equation with a mobile, an equally weighted mobile, so that the left and the right-hand side is the same weight. We are going to illustrate how to solve it with the mobile and then show how we can do this algebraically. So on the right-hand side, we know we have 5 of these squares. Each one of these squares has a weight of 3. We could say that they're 3 pounds or 3 kilos. So let's say that the first square, that's 3 pounds, 3 pounds, 3 pounds, another 3, another 3. In total, all of these 3 units together, we get a total of 15 pounds. That means on the left-hand side that the mass should also be 15 pounds. We are given a square on the left, so I'm going to go ahead and fill in that value. So we also know that that square is 3 pounds. If we know the left-hand side is 15 pounds total, and 3 of those pounds have been devoted to one square, that means whatever's left over. So 15 minus the leftovers. So 15 minus 3 gets us 12. Whatever is left over, these 12 pounds need to be shared between the two hearts. So if I have 12 pounds and they belong to 2 hearts, what is the weight of each of those hearts? We can use division. So if we were to do 12 divided by 2, that gets us 6. So each one of those hearts has a mass of, or should have a mass of, 6 pounds. So every heart has a mass of 6 pounds. We could double check our work. Let's just go ahead and add everything on the left and see if it makes up 15. So on the left we have a 6 plus 6 is 12 plus 3 is 15. So the left-hand side equals 15 and the right-hand side equals 15. So we have solved this equation. We figured out the value of the heart. The value of the heart should be 6 pounds. Now, how do we go about solving this equation that's represented as 2 heart plus 3 equals 15 without doing that little mobile investigation and putting those puzzle pieces together? Well, part of the process is in the work that we did. So these mini calculations that we worked on, so when we chose to minus this term of 13, and we chose to divide by the factor of 2, these two things, these are algebraic principles that we've applied. And we've done them, we've applied them in a certain order, which is quite important. So we moved a term of 3 and we divided a factor of 2. Every time we have multiple operations, your goal is always going to be looking for terms first, factors second. So let's practice that in this equation. I'm going to get rid of all of this and we'll do it in the equation itself. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to look to identify the terms in this expression. So remember that when we talked about terms and like terms, that terms are separated with additions and subtractions, and these are the additions and subtractions that exist outside of a bracket. So in this scenario, if I'm looking at 2 times heart, there's no addition or subtraction between those. I'm going to keep going. There's a plus. So yes, bam, I found a term. So 2 heart is a term. Then plus 3. That is a second term. And I'm going to wrap up with the number 15. That's a term on its lonesome. Now that you've identified your terms, your goal is to figure out between the 2 that needs to be moved, because there's 2 things that's gotta go. The 2 has gotta go. That 3 has gotta go. We just want the heart by itself. So between the 2 and the 3, step 1, move any terms that don't have a variable attached to them. So in the term 2 times heart, these things are factors. There's a heart. That heart is being multiplied by the number 2. So I'm going to leave that there. The plus 3, that is a term. It does not have a variable attached to it. So I'm going to get rid of it. So to get rid of a plus 3, I will do a subtract 3. I will keep my 2 heart. It has not gone anywhere yet. I have my plus 3. I need to get rid of it with a subtract 3. Beautiful. On the left-hand side, we are left with 2 heart plus 3 minus 3. That's 0. So we got 2 heart plus 0 is equal to 15 minus 3. Simplifies to 12. This leaves us with 2 heart is equal to 12. At this point, we have 2 terms. 2 heart is equal to 12. There are no terms, any loose terms that need to be moved, but there's that factor of 2 that's being multiplied by heart. So to get rid of that factor of 2, we will divide. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. So 2 heart divided by 2. Well, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So 1 heart is equal to 12 divided by 2, 6. Amazing. So the value of the heart ends up being 6. So here's our guideline to solving equations. Step 1. Trying to simplify by collecting like terms and using the distributive property. Basically, simplify. The more things that you could be condensed and reduced before shifting things to the left and to the right hand side of your equation, the less room for error that will occur. Okay? Step 2. This is where you're looking to move terms. So with the addition and subtraction principles, move any terms that don't contain your variable. Step 3, you're going to be looking for factors that don't have your variable. These factors can be moved with the multiplication and division principles. I've also included a note, this like cyclical thing where you got a circle that's happening going from 2 to 3 and then 3 back to 2. This is saying that it's not that you work in stage 2, go to stage 3, and that's how it's always going to be. Sometimes when you're working with an equation, you might have to cycle between step 2 and 3. So move a term, move a factor, then a term, and it might go between those two things. What I want to remind you is that you're always looking for terms first. So terms should be your go-to. Look for these first. If you don't see a term that could be moved, then you will move on to your factors. After you've moved on to a factor, a term might become available. So always check. You're checking for this first. And then you move on to a factor if there are no terms. So we're definitely going to have to try a bunch of exercises to feel it out and to see how it works. It's not super intuitive, but the more you work with algebraic equations, the more you'll pick up patterns. You'll look at something, you'll be able to say, hey, I'm going to tackle this, and then I'm going to tackle that. And right when you start off, it's hard to pick out where you should be going first and what you should be moving. So this guideline is helpful in that way. So see you for now. I'll catch you guys on the next lesson.